Well, good morning. Good morning. Thank you for everyone for being here today. And I particularly want to recognize some of our civic leaders who are here with us today. Councilmember Todd Gloria, Councilmember-elect Chris Ward, Stephen Whitburn, our leader of Pride here this week, Barbara Blake, who many know from our LGBT Chamber of Commerce, the Greater San Diego Business Association, Jerry Sanders, of course, from the San Diego Regional Chamber of Commerce, Joe Terzi from our Tourism Authority, and of course, Nicole Ramirez. I want to thank everybody who's been here not only today, but throughout these past couple months as we've been preparing to just show how much Pride and our LGBT community mean to San Diego. Pride was, without a doubt, one of our favorite San Diego traditions. And just like Comic-Con, over the line, December nights, Pride has become a signature event in our city. And just like so many of these events, it draws people from across the country and indeed the globe to come to San Diego and celebrate our city and the incredible people in it. And today we are proud to introduce the first ever economic impact report on San Diego Pride. The report from San Diego State University Center for Hospitality and Tourism Research examined Pride visitor spending in 2014 to show that the weekend gross generates nearly $11 million in economic impact. That tells us, I think, what all of us already know, that Pride is much more than an epic cultural celebration. It's an economic driver that supports jobs, tourism, and local San Diego businesses. And this report shows that even though we know just about every major city in America hosts their own celebrations, San Diego remains a top destination for Pride festivities. And we as San Diegans are proud of that fact. Between our beautiful beaches, world-class shops and restaurants, vibrant neighborhoods like Hillcrest, and in our inviting atmosphere, it's no secret to us why visitors from around the world choose to come to San Diego's Pride. And Pride is a way that San Diegans come together to celebrate the things that make this city special. So we know it's not that it's someone's character nor their orientation or how they identify that matters most. It means that we embrace diversity. And we know that it's character that matters, and that's why we celebrate that. And so I'm looking forward to kicking off Pride once again this year. We know it's going to be a record Pride from attendance. We're going to hear that from Stephen Whitburn. And just wanted to say that it is a lot of work that gets us to this point for our week celebrations, but one that we are so proud of, one that has an economic bottom line that supports our entire city. And with that, I'd like to introduce Councilmember Todd Gloria. Todd?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you so much for being such a long-time and stalwart supporter of our LGBT community. This is, of course, a very busy July in the city of San Diego with the All-Star Game and Comic-Con just around the corner. But Pride Weekend is truly a special because it gives San Diegans the opportunity to welcome people from all walks of life to celebrate diversity and the great spirit of our city. I'm looking forward to another exciting Pride Weekend, and I want to thank San Diego LGBT Pride as well as San Diego State University for collaborating on a report that we all have wanted for such a very long time. I think all of us know that Pride inherently would have a positive economic impact on our community, and it's great to actually have that quantified now in hard data that we can use to help promote this event further. This report proves what I and many others have known for many years, which is that this is a big deal for our city. This weekend's festivities brings in 20,000 people from out of town, each of which will spend on average $560, which goes right back in to our local economy. Look behind me right now. You see people at work who would not be working otherwise without this great event. 100,000 people overall are expected to generate $11 million in economic activity. Ladies and gentlemen, the tax proceeds to the city are significant, and that helps me and the mayor pave a whole lot of roads. So this is a good thing. Now, as excited as I am, and as important as it is for folks to understand the economic impact that Pride, Comic-Con, All-Star Game, all those events have, I don't want us to lose sight of the fact that this event is at its core still a political event. It is still about a community that is too often marginalized, that must stand up and speak out once a year, take to the streets, and remind folks to celebrate what we have accomplished and how much more we must do. And I want to acknowledge one of the founders of the very first San Diego LGBT Pride is here with us today, Nicole Ramirez. Thank you you, Nicole. 1974, Nicole Tonhoman, who was an attorney, and Jess Jessup, who was a veteran. All three of them marched down to the San Diego Police Department and requested a permit for this event. I don't think you got that permit. Sorry about that, Nicole. But when they went down to take that courageous stand all those years ago, they created something now that has not only helped break down barriers and create equality for thousands and thousands of San Diegans, but now is actually generating substantial dollars that help to support all communities across this community. Nicole, we all owe you a debt of gratitude. Thank you very much for being here and honoring us with your presence. I also want to point out that this year's celebration comes in the aftermath of the horrible events in Orlando. And I've heard from many people in my council district and in the LGBT community in general about the fear that that event has caused. And I want to encourage everybody to still show up, to be out there and march, to not allow the fear that some would like us to live with to hold us back. By staying home, that actually emboldens them and rewards their behavior. The best thing to do is to show up and march in the streets and make sure that folks know that we will never, ever go back into the closet. And when you go out, I want you to make sure that you're patronizing our small local businesses, particularly our bars, who have been really the epicenter of our movement. It was no mistake that the modern civil rights movement for the LGBT community started at a bar in New York City, a bar that is now today a national historic landmark. Our bars are important. Our small businesses in Hillcrest and North Park and Uptown community are important. And this report today that's being released really shows exactly the economic impact and the benefits to those businesses. So please show up. Please speak out, be a part of this effort. Know that you're helping to advance an important civil rights movement while at the same time helping to support our important local economy. Thank you all very, very much. Mr. Mayor? It gives me great pleasure to introduce the Executive Director of the San Diego LGBT Pride Organization, my friend Stephen Whitburn. Stephen?
Good morning. We're expecting record crowds this year. I'm pleased to share with you that people from 37 states and 14 countries have already purchased tickets to the Pride Music Festival this weekend. And it's easy to see why. San Diego is known worldwide as one of the most LGBT-friendly cities around the globe, and we have our festival here in beautiful Balboa Park, so people come from all over to celebrate with us here in San Diego. We're fortunate to have city leaders and city residents who are so welcoming to LGBT visitors, and many travel to San Diego Pride year after year. I'd also like to emphasize that Pride is for everyone, and everyone is invited. We'll have more than 100,000 people of all different stripes celebrating who they are and celebrating each other. About half the people will be members of the LGBT community, and the other half will be our wonderful straight allies who come out to support the LGBT community and celebrate diversity in general. One of the reasons we're able to do all of this is the support of the city of San Diego, our elected officials, the city personnel who help to make this all happen, and the City Commission for Arts and Culture, which provides important funding that helps to generate Pride's economic impact for the city. We have quite a weekend lined up. The keynote speaker at Friday's Spirit of the Stonewall rally is U.S. Secretary of the Army Eric Fanning. He was just confirmed by the U.S. Senate in May. He's the first member of the LGBT community to head a U.S. military branch. The Pride Block Party is Friday night in Hillcrest under the big Pride flag on Normal Street. Saturday morning, the Pride Parade will have more than 200 contingents cheered on by more than 100,000 people. The motorcycles will roar their engines to life at 11 o'clock sharp. Then we'll have a solemn tribute to the Orlando victims. And then we'll get back into a celebratory mood with the military contingent led by the Secretary of the Army. Mayor Faulconer will be in the parade, as will Councilmember Gloria and a number of other elected officials. We'll have the Pride Youth Marching Band. Students from around Southern California come to San Diego to be a part of the Pride Youth Marching Band and to perform in the parade, and all the other fun contingents that people enjoy year after year. The Pride Music Festival will be here in Balboa Park on Saturday and Sunday. The headlining performer on Saturday is Kesha. The headliner on Sunday is Paul Oakenfold. We'll have 5 music stages in total, more than 200 exhibitors, all that festival food and beverage that people enjoy so much. And if you'd like more details about the weekend, you can find all the information at our website at sdpride.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, my friend. Well done. Right on time with the throw. Now I'd like to introduce Barbara Blake from the Greater San Diego Business Association. Barbara.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming. Happy Pride. This is a great week. And so I've been asked essentially to give some numbers regarding the LGBT community and economics. Many of those numbers have already been explained out here, but let me encapsulate it for you. Well, first, let me tell you about GSDBA, the organization that I represent. It's essentially the LGBT Chamber of Commerce. We represent about 500 local businesses, and we are the largest LGBT chamber in the state of California. And I'm also very happy that, to mention that is in addition to almost half of the parade spectators being our heterosexual allies, 25% of our business members are allies as well. So this is also open to all businesses. And so the economic impact of any LGBT community has the potential of being very significant depending upon the relationship with which we have with our government leaders and our fellow community. So several years ago, the Human Rights Campaign started doing surveys of municipalities in the United States and how LGBT friendly and safe they were. And they began to publish this, and this is something that our community pays a great deal of attention to. They rate employers as far as how friendly and safe they are, and they also rate municipalities, essentially from a score of 0 to 100. The average score in San Diego, in the United States, was 56. From the very beginning, from the very first one, San Diego has received 100 out of 100. And that is because of all the things that the people previous to me have mentioned, is the relationship between our government officials, our business leaders, as in Jerry Sanders, and again, our wonderful allies in the community. And so Pride does have a tremendous economic impact this weekend. With regard to the $11 million that everyone spoke about, there's $200,000 in TOT funds that come in. Sales tax alone is $100,000 or more. But that's just the weekend. The impact of the LGBT community on San Diego is significant. And so I'll give you some numbers. And by the way, for those of you who would like the full report or would like to have the resources for the numbers I'm about to give you, please let's chat afterwards, and I'll be happy to send you all this information, which has much more data on it. In 2014, a very reputable survey and marketing company took a look at the LGBT community and what we do with our money. And what they found is that nationwide in 2014, we had $884 billion of buying power in the United States. That is equivalent to the GDP of the state of Florida. It is also more than the GDP of all but 3 states, New York, Texas, and California. Collectively, the LGBT community has quite an economic impact in the United States. If you look at the demographics, what you find is San Diego County is almost exactly 1% of the population of the United States. So simply by doing the math, what you realize is that the economic impact for the LGBT community on San Diego's economy is $9 billion, and that's in 2014. And that also means that the LGBT community in general in the United States and the world is going to spend as much money in a city such as Raleigh, North Carolina, which got a 60 in the municipality index, as they will in beautiful San Diego, who welcomes them with open arms. And so that $9 billion buying power that I'm talking about is the absolute minimum. And our community is growing. And so we want to thank our fellow San Diegans, our government officials, and all of you for making San Diego one of the most friendly and safest place for the LGBT community from all over the world. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Barbara. Well said. Thank you. You know, our president and CEO of the Greater San Diego Regional Chamber of Commerce, Jerry Sanders.
Thank you. Well, today is truly a great day. Councilmember Gloria said go to a bar.
I say that every day.
It doesn't mean you have to wait till work's over. Just go right now. You've gotten the order. As we've heard today, San Diego's annual Pride celebration is a true economic driver in our region. Those who choose to celebrate Pride in San Diego contribute greatly to the continued economic growth and success of America's finest city. But the positive impacts extend far beyond this once-a-year celebration. Just as those who come to San Diego to celebrate Pride enjoy how open and welcoming our city is, Pride is also a time when San Diego is showcased as a diverse and supportive community that values inclusion. At the Chamber, we know through our members that social inclusion in the workplace is a very important aspect of economic development and economic growth. Not only is inclusion linked to a stronger economy, but inclusion, whether it's LGBT, gender, race, or ethnicity, excuse me, unleashes the economic potential of our greatest assets, our people. The benefits are seen in increased workplace productivity, higher per capita income, and higher levels of education. The economic impacts of inclusion in business are far-reaching. Just like the benefits of San Diego's Pride celebration extend well beyond one weekend a year. The economic impacts of this weekend's festival will pay dividends for years to come, and the message of inclusion we send from the businesses that support this event will continue to enrich the community and San Diego as America's finest city. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you to all our speakers. It's going to be a great weekend with lots of activity, huge economic impact to our city, and a whole lot of fun. We'll be available for any questions one-on-one. Thank you, guys. Thank you.